Our next subtitle is the Kansas-Nebraska Act. So, like the presidents before him, Franklin Pierce's presidency is going to largely have to deal with the issue of slavery yet again. A lot of people think, including Pierce, that has been totally solved by the Compromise of 1850. As we shall see, that is very, very far from the truth. In fact, the Compromise of 1850 probably creates more problems than it solves. So at this point, the Union is starting to splinter, and it's over North and South tensions, the North and South divide, and over the issue of slavery. So the politicians, many of them are trying to just keep the Union together in whatever way possible. So let's go to the Kansas-Nebraska Act, a very important piece of legislation at this time. It's passed on May 30th, 1854, and it's written by a man named Stephen Douglas. Now, Stephen Douglas is going to become more and more important for us. He was a Democrat from Illinois, and he was a rival of Abraham Lincoln. Now, he initially has a lot more success than Lincoln. In fact, he's starting to set his sights on the presidency. He had previously helped Henry Clay draft the Compromise of 1850, so he has some experience with this. But he's trying to balance the South and the North with the Kansas-Nebraska Act so that he can gain enough support to be elected president. So, the Kansas-Nebraska Act deals with, of course, the territories of Kansas and Nebraska, which Nebraska at this time extends a little bit farther north into like the Dakotas, that area. But it says that popular sovereignty will be brought into this area as well. That Kansas and Nebraska would decide for themselves if they would be slave states or free states. So, of course, if you've forgotten popular sovereignty, that means that they'll decide by a popular vote. Now, he expects this to be balanced. He expects Nebraska, that's NE there, to be a free state, and Kansas, that's KS there, to be a slave state. So, theoretically, that would still maintain the balance. And really, his goal here is to open land for a transcontinental railroad. That's what Stephen Douglas really wants to do, along with gaining support by making everyone happy. But there is a problem with this. The problem is that both Kansas and Nebraska lie above the 3630 line that was determined by the Missouri Compromise to be the line between slave and free states. So, according to the Missouri Compromise, both Kansas and Nebraska should be considered free states. So, problem here, Douglas is now planning to effectively repeal the Missouri Compromise, and that's going to have a lot of opponents. Although a lot of people, particularly Southerners, are all for repealing the Missouri Compromise, which has stood for now over 30 years. So there's a lot of concern over this. Continue on to our next slides to see what happened.